Alaikum girls, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. Let us start with revising our previous lesson. We started last time to talk about friction, and we made an experiment to find out what are the effects, what affects friction. Let us remember the conclusion. Objects move faster on smooth surfaces, yes. Objects move slower on smooth surfaces, no. Objects move faster on rough surfaces like the carpet, the street. Do they move faster on it? No. Objects move slower on rough surfaces, yes. Objects with wheels move slower, sure, no. Objects with wheels move faster, yes. Heavy objects move slower, yes, sure. Lighter objects move slower than heavy objects? No. Lighter objects move faster than heavy objects? Yes. Okay. And then we said that we can draw the force by using arrows. Now this man is pushing the car, so this is if I want to draw the force, this is the direction to draw the force. I draw it with an arrow to show the direction. This apple is falling, so the force will be downwards. This car is moving. There are lots of forces that affects it. Now here the car is moving forward because the driver is pushing the benzene on benzene. So this is a force, we call it a driving force. Okay. Also, there's an effect of gravity on this car, so there is another force that pushes it downward. And then we said that also there is a friction between the tires and the floor, so the friction always go the opposite direction of the forces. And when the car also is moving, the air is trying to push it backwards. So these are the forces that affects the car. This is the driving force, this is gravity, backwards this is the friction, and the air, we call it air resistance. We will study it today. We will exactly learn what is air resistance. Remember, these are different types of surfaces. Ceramics and wax are smooth surfaces, and there is little friction, less amount of friction on smooth surfaces. Carpet and grass and also the street tar is a rough surface, and friction, it makes more friction. Okay, so what is friction? Is it the force of pushing and pulling, or the force between two surfaces that are passed together? It stops and slows things, or a metal that can conduct electricity. We said that a force between two surfaces that rub together, and it stops and slows motion. Always friction stops and slows. Okay, let me ask you this question. Why should badminton wear those shoes? Badminton يعني اللي بيلعب التنس مس. Why they wear these types of shoes? Because to make a good grip with the floor. يعني these types of shoes you should always wear them because they make a good catch with the floor. They don't make you slip very easily. يعني they make a good grip. It means they make a higher friction with the floor. Okay? طيب. What will happen to a cyclist if he stops pedaling? Here, the boy is pedaling. Now, if he stops pedaling, what will happen to this boy? The bicycle will stop. Why does it stop? Does it stop alone? Because there is a friction between the tires and the floor. Okay, so by pedaling, they keep the bicycle moving, while when he stops pedaling, the bicycle will finally stops because there's a friction between the tire and the floor. Okay, why do you wear tennis shoes when you want to exercise or run? And why do they have these grooves? Can you see these are grooves? Why do you think? Also, grooves help to make more grip. Grip يعني catch the floor. They grip the floor. Also, look at these tires. The tires of cars, vans, bicycles, they should have these grooves. Why do wires have grooves? To make to make it easier to move, or to overcome too much friction on rough surfaces, or to make a resistance so a bicycle car can stop, or to make to move faster. Sure, to overcome too much friction on the surface. Yani if there is a lot of friction, these grooves can grip the floor and make the bicycle move if the person is pedaling. Also, it resists the friction and help the car to stop. Always grooves make more friction, helps the car or the bicycle to stop, and helps the bicycle to start moving. كيف يعني to start moving؟ يعني suppose in this picture there the floor is very smooth, like ceramics or wax, and it is wet. The bicycles can't make this movement, the circular movement to move. So these grooves help two things: for the bicycle to start moving and for the bicycle to stop. Okay, we need the grooves to overcome the friction at rough surface, to start motion, and to help the car or bicycle stop. Now, what do you feel if you put your hand out of the car window? What do you see? What do you feel? You can feel sometimes that your hand is going backwards because the air is pushing your hand. Yani the car is moving in one direction, the air is moving in the opposite direction. You know what does this called? Today we will learn what is this called when the air push things to make them slower. What is this called? So today our lesson is, we will complete to talk about friction in page 191. In today's glossary, the new words you will learn today is air resistance, Newton meter, circular motion, centripetal force. Okay, these are the new words for today. Here, I have a question for you. What's the effect of friction of a moving object? The object is moving and there is friction. The friction will slow them down, speed them up, zero, it does not affect, or to stop them. Which answers are correct? You have two answers. Always friction will slow objects and will make them stop. Always, you have to memorize this. Okay? طيب, our objectives today: figure out what is air resistance. We will find out what is air resistance. We will recognize what affects air resistance. How does it become more? How does it become less? We will investigate friction in activity 10.2, and we will figure out what is a circular motion. Let us go to our first objective. Figure out what is air resistance. Go back to this picture. We said when you put your hand outside of the window, you can feel the air is going in the other direction, in the opposite direction. This is called, here you will feel the air is pushing your hand backwards. Okay, look here. What will happen to the cyclist if he stops pedaling? Again, he is pedaling. If he stops pedaling, at the end, the bicycle will stop. Why? Again, there is a friction between the tire and the street. He will stop because of the friction between the floor and the tires. Okay. Also, there is something else will stop the cyclist. What is it? Because the air will push him backwards. right? There are two reasons why he will stop. There is a friction between the air and the floor and the tire, and the air will push him backwards, and this is called air resistance. يعني resistance مقاومة. Okay, and the air بيقاوم الحركة. It pushes you the other direction. So what is air resistance? Is it the force of pushing and pulling? ولا the force between two surfaces that are passed together? It stops and slows things, هذه للfriction. ولا the force that acts on object to slow them down through air? Any object that moves through air and it slows it down بنسميها air resistance. Okay, now that we know what is air resistance, we want to find out what affects air resistance. يعني what makes more air resistance and what makes less air resistance. Here, look at these pictures. Which one will be affected by air resistance more? Now this man is running. Air resistance always push things that goes through air, it pushes them the opposite direction. This man is moving faster in the bicycle. The air resistance is pushing him backward. This car is moving very fast. The air resistance will push this car more. So here, which of them has the highest air resistance? It is the car, and then the bicycle, and then the man. Whenever the object is faster, there will be more air resistance, he can feel air pushing them backward whenever you are faster. So the first thing that affects air resistance is the speed. يعني the car, because it is the fastest. The speed, السرعة. Whenever there is more speed, there is more air resistance. This is the first effect. Okay? Look here. I have a parachute and I have a train with this smooth shape. Okay? Now the parachute, when it goes downward, what will affect it upward and makes it slower? The air will go inside the parachute, right? So the parachute will make more air resistance. The shape of the parachute will let more air enter the parachute and makes it go down slower. While this very fast train, why do they have this shape, this smooth, round shape? Because they can move faster. يعني the shape of the object that moves in the air helps to make more or less air resistance. The shape of the parachute makes more air resistance. The shape of the train makes less air resistance. Look here. So on the train, here, which picture does the air resistance have less effect? طبعا on the train, because it has round smooth shape from the front, so air can slip easily. Here, this is the shape of the train. يعني the air can slip easily through this shape. It's exactly the shape of the bird. Why do birds have this shape, the smooth round shape? Because they don't want more air resistance. يعني the air will slip down and up. So there will be less air resistance. لو كان في for example an airplane with this shape رح يكون في كتير air resistance. This is the air. It will push it more. Okay? So the shape السموث راوند هذه الاير جيت ليه بيعملوا هيك الشيبس لإلها؟ لأنه الاير ريزيستنس بيكون less. It will slip up and down. Okay? Exactly like the train. The air will slip above and down. It will not push it backward. Exactly like the shape of the fish. inside water. There is a water resistance. Why do fish have this shape? لأنه when the fish is going this direction, the water will go the other direction. So the water will slip up and down, so it can move faster. Okay, so go back. What affects air resistance? First, the speed. More speed makes more air resistance. Less speed makes less air resistance. And the shape. If it's smooth and round, there is less air resistance. If it's flat and big, it makes more air resistance. Okay? This shape هذا مو مذكور في كتابكم بس I want you to learn it. I want you to memorize it. This shape بنسميه هذا الشيب, the shape of the fish, the shape of the bird, the shape of the train, the airplane. هذا الشيب بنسميه streamlining, الشكل الانسيابي. streamlining. ايش هو هذا؟ a smooth rounded design. شايفة كيف كلهم smooth and round, smooth and round from the beginning, smooth and round. Okay, of an object so it slips through the air and causes least friction.